Okay. Welcome back to Hanger 51. Sorry I'm a little late, guys. I'll get into that in a minute. But we're here. We're here. Um, Let me see if I can, while we're here, let's do something else. All right. Nobody here yet? All right. Well, I'm not going anywhere. So jump in when you can. Let's see what I'm going to get set up here for something else I want to talk about. So let's do this. Okay. Well, where'd that go now? Victor, what's up? How you doing, man? I saw you in the chat the other day. Motion's new release. I saw you there. We're going to talk about that. Hmm. I don't know what happened here. That's really weird. Okay, there it goes. Thank you. All right, let's get this up. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know why this is doing this. Let's just go here and see what the fuck happens.
When it comes to your body, you shouldn't settle for average.
All
But
right.
choose experience.
I feel like women can take a lot of things.
All right. That should take care of that now. All right. Shadow, what's up? Yeah, I'm here. Sorry I was late. Um, Kind of a snowball effect here at the end. I had to, it was game night at the church tonight. So, and we always play, dominoes, and we ended it in time. That wasn't a problem. But I had to take one of the guys home. His normal ride was not there tonight, so I told him I'd bring him home. So I took him home. Got back. Um, Had to feed the cat. Had to get the cat in the house. It was outside. Wouldn't come in. You cat owners. You know how that goes. So I fed the cat, and then I cook barbecue ribs for the game night. And first time I've ever had to I brought two ribs home. We had a light turnout tonight, and a couple of people decided not to go get seconds, including myself. So I had a little snack when I got home. So I hurry up and ate those, and then And then, of course, Murphy's Law kind of thing. I had to go to the bathroom before I went out the door. So I had to drop the boys off at the pool, as they say. And then I got out of here, and then hey, Shadow, have you updated Chrome? And are you getting any conflicts? I keep getting a message now using Chrome um, that it's not. This version is not. Wait a minute. Let me go to something and I'll tell you what it says. It keeps giving me these bad messages every time I try to open something, go somewhere. I get a virus alert, and I don't know what the hell that is. Okay, this app can't run on your PC, and the app is Chrome, and yeah, this app can't run. It's always run on this machine, but I had an update, and I don't know. I'm not sure if it was an AVG update now or if it was a Chrome update. Um, did any of you guys get a Chrome update recently, or is it my AVG that was the update? Don't normally finish. I do cars Saturday video before you go live. Hmm. Michael misses me. Which Michael? Right, sir? Yeah. So I'm running the show from Firefox tonight because I keep getting. I'm afraid it's going to crash if I run it on Chrome. So I'm running it on Firefox tonight because yeah, I'm not getting this warning on Firefox, just on Chrome. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, AVG is always running in background, Shadow. It just sits in background and monitors in case I go to a threatening website. Like I get a link, click the link, and then if it knows it's a bad place to go, it warns me. It stops it and says, you know, security alert. You know, we what do they call it when they jailed it? No, that's not the word they use, but they've got it. To keep, and then I can override it if I want. Yeah, but yeah, Shad, I've been running these two, for years and years and years, and until this last update, it's never been a problem. And now all of a sudden, I'm getting this app warning. So, um, probably waiting for. I'm just what I'm going to do is undo whatever the last update was, whether it was AVG's update or if it was Windows update. I'm just going to undo it and that'll cure that, because it'll go back to the old version that worked fine. So that's what I'm gonna do for now until they catch up, whichever one's behind. I'm not sure who's behind, but whenever they get their shit together, I'll uh, I'll fix it. So, but anyway, so so what else is new and exciting, guys? Anything new in your world over there? Um, David yourself, what is up, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you, man. Are you coming down here this summer? Visit your half brother? I guess Victor went back to the Zoom before he read my message. That's typical. Yeah, that's my every Saturday night. I've got guys in here and guys in Zoom, and they bounce back and forth. And so, what are you going to do? Not exactly sure why. Don't get me wrong, I love the Zoom. It's a lot of fun. We have a great time in there, but there's nothing to talk about right now. Well, we finally have one thing to talk about, but in general, we haven't had anything to talk about. And Spencer runs the Zoom 3 nights a week, and when we get in there, nobody really has anything to say. So it's pretty quiet. We're never talking about airplanes, pretty much. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so I want to key up a video here. I'll turn the sound off. Um, you're heading back home tomorrow, Dave. Are you down here now? Are you actually here? You might be shaking things up at Quest Diagnostics. So yeah, well, that's interesting. Well, so you said yes, sir. So you are here in Florida right now. Is that what you're saying? Just had a Freedom Plus ad for Chet and his wife. Oh yeah. I'm at the pool at the Desk Hotel. Where's that at? I don't recognize that name at all. Um, it depends on what part of Orlando, but about an hour and a half to Orlando. Um, well, I wish the hell you'd have called me, Dumbo. I could have come over there and hung out with you, or at least met you over there. There's flying fields over there. We could have gone flying. I mean, shit, dude. I wish the hell you'd have called me. You went to the Kennedy Space Center today? Yeah, that's cool. I like it over there. Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing, man? Yeah, I know. I knew you were here on work, but you don't work all night. I know once you're off the clock, you have. We could have. We could have done some things, man. Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Well, okay, now I know why you didn't call me. Yeah, you're forgiven. That's funny. Oh my God, that's funny. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All I had to see was the word tail, like in tail hook, and I knew what you meant. Just keeping it PG rated here. That's all. Anyhow, yeah, that's funny. Well, good for you, dude. Uh, all right. So, excuse me for 1 second. I am, well, I unpacked. Yeah, that's a good word. I unpacked a stand-up fan to put in here while I'm doing my show to have some air circulation, and I'm gonna go get it. It's right here in the garage. I'm not going to drop more boys off at the pool or nothing. I'll be momentarily gone. It's just right out the door, so I'll be right back. This thing before I brought it in here, but I didn't get a chance. So hopefully it's not going to blow too much dirt on me. I don't know. This wasn't my fan. I picked it up somewhere. I know it works. I tested it when I got it, so I know it works. I just don't know how dirty it is. So let me plug it in and we'll see what we get here. It's definitely getting warmer out here in the garage, that's for sure. All right. Silent. Can't hear it at all. All right. It's much better. Very nice. Absolutely silent. And just to show you, hang on a second. Let me grab something that'll blow in the wind here. Well, this will work. Well, kind of. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, when I pull it back into it, the wind hits it and blows it away. Yeah. So anyway, all right, that's cool. Much better. That feels much better. It's a big ass fan. God, it's 4 feet tall. I mean, it's a big damn fan. Anyway, okay, so much better. All right, so let's see. Let's see. Little dust never hurt anyone. That's true. Yep. Never piss in the wind. Yeah, that's good. What's up? How you doing, man? I just thought of something, Eric. Um, your phone number is on the. I think your phone number and email address are on your airplane, so you might get notifications instead of me about delivery. So if you do, keep me posted. And if I hear anything, I'll keep you posted. But I can't remember if it's gonna if they're gonna notify you or me. So anyway, looking forward to seeing it. I think that's going to be a cool airplane. So let me get this video going here for a minute. No, that's not it. Which video is this? Oh, well, it's close enough. All right, let me capture this so we can watch it. All right, so give me a second here while I grab this video here. All right, I think that'll work. All right. Or fart for that matter. Yeah, yeah. You don't want to fart in the wind either. At least not a headwind. You can fart in a tailwind. You just want to fart in a headwind. All right, hang on here. My pants are falling off. Uh, okay. Well, there was a little dust on that fan. Okay. Uh, Wiggs, what's up? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Let's see. Anybody else pop in that I didn't catch? I know Victor was here. David, yourself here. Oh yeah, there's this new guy. Who's this? This is Mad Season. Mad Season. Welcome to the chat, sir. Let's see. So I don't know if you guys saw it or not. If you haven't, you're gonna see it now. Um, so just to prove how much I love this hobby, even by popular demand, you guys know I don't care for motion RC much, and I don't particularly like Fan Amy. But so Eric says the new jet's nice, but he'll pass. Okay. Hey, why are you passing, Eric? What's your reason for passing? Because that's what I want to talk about it. So yeah, I want to hear everybody's opinion on it. So I guess Shadow agrees too. He's going to pass. Okay, let me get back here. Oop. I've got enough of everything. I don't need another. I don't need an F-35. I got one. Okay. Price competitive, but expensive. Okay. Yep. So you want an Avenger and an SBD? Yeah, well, you guys saw it. I mean, you should have. I bought an SBD. Um, it's a wood kit from Tower that was on sale. It's really nice. Um, Michael Bird, what's up? Okay, all right, guys. So I agree with all your statements. I do. I just want to point out a few things. Let's let me start the video. Let's watch that. So hang on a minute. Let me switch this over, and then let me start the video. There shouldn't be any sound, so um, this is just a quick landing. He's got the gear down. I believe this is, Wes is flying this, I believe. Yeah, afterburner. It's got the navigation lights. It's got the positioning lights. It's got the um, let me back the video back up. We'll freeze it. Okay, well we got a commercial. All right, where'd it go? I lost it. There it is. I want to freeze it, and it's just the right spot here. Okay, that's a good spot right there. Yeah, hang on a minute. Let me recenter the picture. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Now I kind of missed it, just a squeak here. Let me. Okay, so we got the slime lights, the positioning lights on, got nav lights on, it's got landing lights on, it's got a reverse thrust, and it has a afterburner light. Um, Supposedly, it's got pretty rugged landing gear, according to Chris Wolf. Um, so, yeah, I'm kind of impressed with it, and I think so. I'm on Motion's website right now, and here their most expensive EDF is $819. It's a twin 80 MiG 29. What was the big 29, and now they've got it in two paint schemes, and the new Red Star twin, and then and I think that one's got thrust vectoring. And then they have the old color scheme also for $755. But the next one down from that is the Black Horse, which isn't a foam airplane, and that's $789. And then the A10 is $779. So for a 110 millimeter fan, where'd my oh, I know, my bad. So with a 110 millimeter fan, all the lights, how many times have we all talked about, somebody brought out a new airplane, they didn't put lights in it, or they didn't put very many lights in it. We've all complained about that. So this one, they put all the lights in it, and you can turn them on and off from the transmitter if you want. If you want to put an 8-channel receiver in it, you could turn what do they call them? They call them the positioning lights, but we have a slang for it. Um, Slew lights, or I don't know, I forget now. You can turn those on and off. Of course, the landing light goes on and off with the gear. The nav lights probably don't turn off, but why would you turn those off? And then it comes with the afterburner. And I think they finally, because I had that giant MB339 or whatever it is, and that's a 105-inch fan, and that plane was $860, and it didn't come with any lights. I had to add lights to it. Or wait a minute, it did come with nav lights. That's right. And I think there's a landing light on the front gear, and that's pretty much it. And if you put the tip tanks on, unless you modify them like I did, you lose the lights, the nav lights, because the tip tanks cover the lights, which I thought was pretty stupid. So yeah, I think with Motion, I kind of think if the plane turns out to be as nice as I think it is, at 110 millimeter and all the lights, and it's 12S. And I think 989 might be a little on the high side, but like Shadow said, that competitive. I think they finally brought something out close to what it was worth, where most of their other planes I think are way overpriced. I think they finally hit one here that's priced pretty reasonable for Motion. Hey Matt, good to see you, man. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I was hoping you'd come to this. So yeah, I think it's. I'm a little excited. I'm not going to run out and buy one. I can tell you that. My funds are tied up right now. I have to take a break from buying. I just hope the price doesn't go up before I can finally buy one. But I think Motion finally did a pretty good one here. And as far as it being a C model, the reason I think they did it, I don't think they did it for the bigger wing, more, lift capacity. I don't think they did for any of those reasons. I think they did it because everybody's done the A model, and I think they wanted to do something different. That's my take on it. I don't think they needed the extra wing area or any of that crap. They could have fudged that anyway. Literally, they could have just made the wing bigger without really telling you that it was out of proportion. I mean, which one of us is actually going to fucking measure it to see if it's actually accurate or not? So yeah, and I don't think it's honestly. I think the wing isn't big enough for the C model. I'm pretty sure the C model has a bigger wing yet than what they came out with, from what I've seen. But yeah, I think they just picked the C model because nobody else has done a C model, and it's going to be a while before anybody does a B. That's the vertical takeoff one. That one's it's coming. They're working on it. There's several private companies or private individuals are building their own, and I'm sure you've seen the videos, and it's coming out pretty cool. I think the biggest problem with that one is if you're going to use the vertical takeoff or the vertical landing, you're going to have like a minute of flight time, maybe. Literally, you're going to be able to get it off, suck the gear up, get in forward motion, make one lap around the pattern, and then land, or take off normal, one lap around the pattern, and then come in and hover to land. That's about all the battery you're going to have if you're going to, unless we can really lighten the fuck out of it, and they can, but it's going to be at a cost, which will be either a very expensive carbon fiber built airplane with probably monocoque stretched over a frame. It won't be a foam airplane, or and of course that'd be very expensive, and it'll have no durability. So if you have a boo boo landing, it'll destroy the frame, and you'll have to start over. So for a foam airplane that's pretty rugged, because we know the foam's pretty forgiving. I like it, and I hate Fat Amy. This airplane does nothing for me, and the real one, nothing. And I already had an F-35 kit, and I traded it for a Draco kit. As a matter of fact, I got that's the kit I got from you, Eric. And I took it to the hobby shop and traded it for a Draco kit because I didn't want it. But this one's impressed me. I got to tell you, and since I hate motion and I hate the F-35, the fact that this one's actually got my attention is pretty amazing. So. Jeff, am I wrong, or did you mistype? You said the Flightline Biggie F-35 is this a Flightline plane or a free wing plane? I didn't look that close. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was a free wing plane. Yeah, that's where I bought my. Okay. Yeah, that's where I bought my. I bought my big MB339 from Banana Hobby. And it's huge. It's a big airplane. It's bigger than this. Michael, what did you learn your lesson? You said you learned my. I learned my lesson. What lesson was that, Michael? What are we talking about? Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely, Michael Bird. I'm going to wait to see Yeah, I want to see it when they get it, when people get it in their hands, what they start complaining about. Somebody made a comment, I guess, there at the field that the landing gear didn't look sturdy enough. I don't know what they're looking at that that I didn't see, but I think the main struts had the over center lock like the F-16 does. Um, so unless they can rip the whole gear out of the airplane, I don't see the gear failing. Um, so I don't know. Well, okay. So Shadow, I understand what you're saying, um, but that's not totally accurate. Okay. Yeah, Chris has been testing this plane for over a year. Um, the reason you have to get it into people's hands is because people that crash their plane into the ground call it a butter landing. That's what we have to find out. What the average flyer and their impression of what's a good airplane, what's a bad airplane. Um, so yeah, I know not this one, but I'm just saying, that when you're talking about end user, testing the airplane, it's not that they didn't test it. It's they can't make. I mean, it's tough to make a plane. When I started flying back in '73, one of the guys that was teaching me, he built all of his airplanes crash proof. Which they were so fucking heavy they didn't fly. Um, so he crashed every one of them, but they didn't break them because they were built like a brick shithouse. So they didn't fly with crap, and every landing was a crash landing. Because he had crash proofed it. And there's a guy out at Imperial, same thing. He overbuilds every fucking airplane to the point that they don't fly with the crap because he crashes everything. So he tries to make them sturdier, and by doing that, he makes them too fucking heavy, and they don't fly, and then he crashes them anyway, and you know, so um, okay. I don't know which F-18 are we talking about. Um, the only F-18 I have is the one that Pilot Ryan gave me at the one event, at his event down here, and it's the Blue Angel F-18. So is that a Horizon E-Flight plane, or who makes that airplane? I couldn't even tell you who makes it. I've only flown it once since he gave it to me. Um, oh, you're talking about the 90 millimeter free wing. Okay, I don't have that airplane, so I can't speak intelligently about that F-18. I don't have one. I haven't seen one. Nobody at my field has one. I'm about the only guy at my field that flies jets. There's not too well. When Tony and um, Lewis come out to the field, they're about the only other two that fly jets. The three of us are pretty much the only jet flyers out there. Um, Everybody else is, timber, you know, uh, the Cub, the Super Cub. That's kind of the feeling out of my field. Most of the guys are just slow flyers, propellers, slow fly. Yeah, if there's any jets flying, it's usually me. So, um, I know they had issues with the elevator servos on the big 29 when it first came out. Um, Again, I don't know what people were trying to do with the plane. They weren't doing normal stuff when those servos gave up. They were either doing a big loop under full power or something, that they were heavy G load in the wing, and I guess it was stalling the elevator servo. I guess the servo wasn't strong enough to overcome those kind of maneuvers. Okay, it's a valid argument. But I'm just saying it. They didn't test it for that. They fly it around, and it flies good for them, and they think they're doing all the. It's so funny. My brother is a software. He's a programmer, and his first wife didn't do anything conventional in the conventional way. She always had another thought process going on. So whenever he wrote a program, he'd make her test it. And then she'd tell him what's wrong with it, because the way she's trying to operate it, it doesn't work. He just, look at her and go, well, why would you do it that way? And she said, well, that's the only way I know how to do it. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then he would change it, so it would work that way and this way, in case there's other people out there that think like she does. But it just used to crack him up that she would come up with these crazy ways to try to run the program that you wouldn't think anybody would think to use it that way, but they do. And so it's the same goes for this hobby, and I think pretty much anything in life. I remember back in the 70s, Honda, or not Honda, but Ford, I think it was in I think it was the first iteration of the Focus, the Ford Focus. They put the horn button on the end of the turn signal lever. There's a button on the end of the turn signal lever. That's how you honk the horn. Now, who in the fuck, under a panic situation, when you're going to, slam the horn to, is going to use the end of the turn signal indicator? Right? What was he thinking? I mean, that was the stupidest thing I ever saw in my life. I was like, no, who the fuck thought that up? So it's just, people are different, and you try to think outside the box and accommodate everybody, but you're never going to get everybody. And that's the part where, our input helps them develop better products. Because when we find something that doesn't work the way we think it should, and we tell them, sometimes they listen. Not always, but sometimes. Not feeling the greatest? Okay. All right, Shadow. Hey, thanks for stopping in. I'm glad you stopped. Go take care of yourself, man. We'll talk to you later. So anyway, there was two examples of what I'm talking about where, my brother using his first wife as a test bed to find the bugs, to find, because he knew she'd run it different than the way he programmed it. So that's how he figured out what he needed to change to make it better. He'd have her run it, and then when it didn't work right for her, he fixed it. He added more features. And of course, Ford didn't put the horn back in the end of the turn signal lever again, but some engineer thought that was a good idea. So anyway. So yeah, I'm kind of impressed with this one. I really am. I'm, I think, they put every fucking light you could put on it. Other than something in the cockpit, which, I don't think the cockpit opens. That would have been cool if the canopy opened, but I don't think it does. I don't even think it comes off. I don't, the battery bay is behind it. So, you got to stop somewhere, guys. You got to keep it at least reasonable to keep it affordable. I wish I could speak intelligently about that airplane, the F-15 or the F-18, but I can't. But I mean, how big is that airplane? You know, would it need 280s to fly, or could they made it bigger and put 280s in it? You know, I don't know. Um, but anyway, this is why I was. You know, I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm glad I'm getting all your opinions. I that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. You know, even though I'm not a motion fan, and I'm not a Fat Amy fan at all, I do like this model. You know, this thing looks pretty impressive. Um, so the F-15 weighs a lot, yeah. Okay, yeah, Matt. That's the C model. That's the way the C model is. The tail feathers are way bigger on that model. And I think the reason they did that was because everybody's, you know, there's a whole shitload of A's out there. I think they wanted to do something different. And those are the visual differences between the A and the C, is the wing size and the tail feather size. You know, other than that, there's the planes are the same. Um, you know, well, and heavier landing gear. The nose gear's dual wheel on the C. It's not on the A. Um, but yeah, it's yeah. I wish. I don't know if I have any. Let me go look and see if I could find some good pictures of the sea. You know, I kind of thought the same thing at first, but I haven't seen a lot of sea footage, so I wasn't gonna say that they made it too big because I wasn't sure. Um, but let me see if I can get some pictures of it. Yeah, this one picture, they're pretty damn big. They may have overdid it a little bit, but they are pretty big. See, I think you're talking proportionals. Now I'm looking at the wings on the C, and I think the real C wings are way bigger than this model's. I don't think the model's wings are as big as they should have been. Because the wings on the C, the real one, are fucking huge, and I don't see these. Let me go back to the first picture here. Let me back this video up where he does the breakout. Oh God! Every time I fricking move the thing, I get a new commercial. All right, let me see here. All right, let's do. I'm gonna do a comparison shot. Give me a second here. I'm gonna set this up. Let me do this. I'm gonna move that over here. All right, let me superimpose another picture over it. So let's get. See, the model wings are too stubby. I'm gonna put this picture up. We're gonna add this to the. Let me get a. All right, let me do this. Let's see if I can. Yes, if I can. It says I can save this picture. No, I'm not gonna do it that way. I have a save image as. Yep, right there. Okay, F35. And we're saving it to downloads. Okay, good. All right. Let me go into here and we're going to add an image. Let's see here. All right, let's just add it. Let's just add an image here. Okay. Browse. Downloads. Here. It's going to take a minute, guys. Just give me a second here. Okay, let's grab that. Oh, perfect. All right. We'll try to keep the size proportional here. Well, semi. All right. So, all right, wait a minute. Let me do this. Hang on. I think that's going to stay in the picture. All right, let's look at this. All right, you guys tell me what you think. So I think the on the model, the tips are not long enough. I think the tips have to be longer. I think the tail feathers are pretty accurate. I think those look about right, but the wing tips, I think the wingspan should be bigger, proportionally. It looks like the real one's wings are bigger. How you doing, Michael? Good to see you, man. Yeah, the F-47, if we ever find out what that thing looks like. Yeah, so to me, I mean, look at the tip of the wing on the drawing, and and then look at the tip on the model that's in the air. The tip is bigger because they cut it. It's like they cut it off shorter, like maybe an inch or two shorter on each wing is what it looks like to me. It looks like the wing should be just a little bit longer, the same rate of taper, but it should be another inch or two longer so that the tip is smaller. And that's that's what I see that's throwing me off. Is the I don't think the main wing is big enough. And for that matter, it looks like the tail surfaces are cut off too. Look at the drawing of the tail, they almost come to a point, you know. And on the model, they look cut off. So, that's what I'm seeing. You guys tell me what you think. Oh, I agree, Michael. It's not like I'm saying, um, that they should change it. I'm just somebody said they thought the wings were too big, and I thought they were too small, you know, but you know, but I I was Matt. He thought the tail surfaces were too big, and again, I think the tail surfaces are too small. I think that they need to be longer. They're not quite long enough. I think they need to be a little bit longer to look like the drawing there. So that's just I'm just comparing our opinions here. That's all. I'm not trying to you know nitpick the airplane. I'm just you guys made a comment, and I'm just making a comment back. And that's all we're talking about here. We're just we're looking at it and giving our opinions on it. That's all. But yeah, the airplane's definitely got my attention, guys. I'm kind of impressed with this thing. I think you know I think it looks pretty damn. I'm waiting to see. I see the problem right now. If Wes has the plane, I can drive to Wes's house in an hour and go look at it. We could even go fly it, and I actually might contact him to see if he's going to go fly it tomorrow. I'm actually might go where he is to go see it. Um, um, but if Chris has the plane, Chris is up in Birmingham, and I guess that one plane is the only one they have. So I don't know who's got it. Does Wes have it or does Chris have it? I don't know who has it. So, but if Wes has it and he's going to fly it tomorrow, I'm going to go. I'm going to go find it. Um, but yeah, this airplane's definitely got my attention. And you guys know I'm not a motion guy, and I'm definitely not a Fat Amy guy. But I think the real plane was a huge waste of money. But this model looks pretty cool, and it's under $1,000. So I even think they're pretty close on the price. Um, are they still at Jet Jam? Is Jet Jam still going on, man? Yeah, I know. I've seen the live streams for the event, but I didn't know if the event was still going on. I thought those were. Oh, that's true though. Yeah, the line. Okay, yeah, you're right. They're still up. They're still up in Illinois. Yeah, they're in Illinois. Yeah, I forgot about that. I was thinking. I was thinking like we were looking at you know video shot last weekend, but no, you're right. It's live now, so they're still there. All right, so I won't be able to go look at it tomorrow. Maybe next week. If Wes gets it, I'll go look at it next week. Um, I'll get a hold of Wes and find out if he's getting the plane or if Chris is keeping it. We'll see. But anyway, that's my take, guys. I was pretty impressed with this. I'm kind of liking it. I really am. It's big. It's it looks the detail looks really good. I like the way it cleaned up when the gear went up in it and all the doors closed. It cleaned up really nice. I thought that looked really good. Um, I just was pretty impressed with it. I got to tell you, I, uh, and that's coming from a guy that hates motion and hates the Fat Amy. I think that's a pretty good statement. Well, guys, I don't think it's Chris's decision who gets the airplane. Chris and Wes are both working for the same guy. That guy's going to decide who gets to play with the airplane. Not Chris and not Wes. Because Chris doesn't have a videographer. Lori and Wes are a team, and they're doing all of their promotions. Right? Remember that, guys. Chris, how often does Chris do a promotion video for any emotion stuff? Only when he comes out with something new. All the other editing and video work comes from Wes. So it's not Chris's decision. So we'll see. I have no idea which one will get it. I think Chris has done all the testing. He probably still has a test model that he's been working on, and this is the first production model. So Chris probably has, the one he's been working on and making adjustments to, and so he probably still has that one to play with, and do more testing. And Wes will have the new one, I'm guessing, but we'll see. We will see. No big deal. All right. So, what else you guys want to talk about? We've talked about this one. I like everybody's opinions. That's cool. I think everybody's got valid points. So the fact that I'm even talking about it on my show is pretty interesting. Yeah, Eric, I know he's the engineer of the jet, but like I said, he's engineering the jet he already has. This is the first one off the assembly line. Chris doesn't need to play with this one. He can keep playing with the engineering one he's been working on all this time with. If they want good video work, that's what Lori was hired for. Don't forget they're paying Lori's salary too, because she's the videographer. All three of them work for motion. So for Lori to do her job, Wes has to have the airplane. So we'll see. I'm surprised they only sent one. I'll be honest with you. Why would they only send one airplane? The HO 229? I don't know what that is, Eric. What are we talking about? What's the HO 229? I'm assuming it's a train. But who makes it? Do you think somebody else is going to make a C model, Matt? Is that what you're saying? There's probably 5 or 6 A models, and all the way down to toy grade garbage, up to free wings A version. I don't. I think Hobby. Yeah, that's true. Banana Hobby has an F35. So but they're all A's. So I don't know. Do you think somebody's going to take a shot at another? Somebody else will take a shot at a C? Do you think it's popular enough for that? Craig B-Man, what's up? How you doing, man? Craig Bevan, do you follow the Pontiac G8 Impala SS community at all? Do you touch on that at all, or not interested? God, this fan is working fantastic. Oh my God, what a difference! It's just on low blow. It's absolutely silent. but I am not sweating at all out here right now. This is so nice. God, what a difference. Holy crap. Hell, I might take a nap out here. This is great. Can't believe that fan made that much difference. Wow. Oh, I don't know. Do you think Motion's working on something else? God, they haven't worked on multiple projects in forever. They haven't got any money anymore, guys. When they fucked up their business, they really fucked it up good. They don't have near the market they used to have. The 229, the wing, the German flying wing. Okay, hang on. Oh, the Horton. Okay. I wasn't familiar with the 229 designation. Yeah, I'm familiar with the airplane, but just wasn't. I had nobody called it the 229 before. They always just call it the Horton. Um, I don't know, Eric. What do you think? Is that something? Is that something you want to see? If somebody built a Horton, would you buy it? What the fuck is Kenny? I don't understand the question. I'm Kenny. What the fuck is Kenny? I'm Kenny. Maybe you wanted to say, "Where's Kenny?" Is that because I forgot to take the jet down? Okay, so I put me back up. I don't know why you want to see me, but whatever. Um, a 1500 millimeter, maybe. Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah, they've already said that the F-35 is not coming out to the fall, late summer, fall. So that means fall to winter is when it'll probably finally hit the shores between what's going on with shipping and everything. Oh yeah, there's plenty of people that scratch build shit. That's always going to happen. Hell, the nicest SR-71 was a scratch build that somebody built. And their version's better than any of the ones I've seen come to market. Yeah, that thing's big and cool. And then, of course, there's Ramey. That guy's insane. I love his work. God, I love his work. Okay. So I'm going to share a little something with you guys, just so you understand. All right. Hang on a second. I'm setting this up. No, wrong one. No, wrong one. Wrong one. Wrong one. All right. Let me get to the edge of this. Okay. All right. Let me get back to the chat for a second. Yeah, so those are called drag rudders, Eric. The on the B2, those basically air brakes that open on the wingtips. Yeah, those are called drag rudders, and that's how they control the yaw. Um, yeah, it's a good question. How did the Horton? I don't know much about the Horton because nobody's really, other than talked about um, finding it when we won the war and got it, but um, I don't think I've seen any actual flight footage of that plane flying. Um, but yeah, it's an excellent question. I wonder how they did control the yaw in the Horton. But yeah, on the B2, yeah, it's got drag rudders to do the yaw, control the yaw. Um, so all right, so I know Craig Beevan's a big fan of the FMS F7F Tiger Cat. So am I. I think some of you guys are too. So I have some inside information for you guys how that plane was developed. Okay, there were two major players on that airplane, both here in Florida. Rich Baker, RC Informer, and a guy down in Sarasota named Brandon Moon. Okay, and these two guys, how this works is FMS sends them the airplane, a test plane. They test it. They make modifications to it, move the CG, add this, take away that, whatever they need to do. They send their information back to corporate, to FMS, and and they try to do it in one shot, but sometimes it takes more than one. I think the F7F took more than one. Brandon was working on a lot of cosmetic things, like the cells and the engine, the dummy engines. That was all Brandon Moon. He took care of all that. The flight characteristics was Rich. Rich was taking care of how it flew, what changes to make it fly better, bigger engines, bigger propellers, all that. And Brandon was doing more of the cosmetic stuff. And Brandon took it one step farther, and I'm going to show you a video what Brandon did to the plane. after the finished product was come out, and it's a shame that Brandon's picture's not on the box. If you buy an F7F from FMS, Rich Baker's picture is on the box because he was so involved. Yeah, same thing, Eric. I love my LX models. They fly fantastic. They look great. I think the prettiest airplane I own, as far as scale and everything, is the LX Corsair. The color scheme, the decals, the detail, is the prettiest Corsair that anybody's made. And I pretty much have all of them. I've got FMS's big one. I've got FMS's 1400 size one. I've got the ones from Horizon that had the green stripe on it, and the other ones I've got one from Unique Models that has their landing gear was on a cog system like spider gears and a differential, and I have that Corsair. So I pretty much have everybody's Corsair out there, and LX Models Corsair is by far the prettiest, and it happens to be sitting right outside the camera behind my screen over there because I like to keep it near me because it's just such a beautiful airplane. But so here's a video of what Brandon did to the F7F. All right, so I'm gonna play this for you. Wait for it. And Brandon's the one that made silver. That was his idea. And look what he did. So what do you think of that one, Craig? Would you like to have your F7F do that one? That's all Brandon Moon right there. So yeah, you're right. It is 10 years ago. But I'm explaining what it takes to build these airplanes. The factory sends you a plane, and then people like Brandon and Rich Baker have to test it, modify it, develop it, send their information back to the factory. So that's what Chris Wolf's been doing with this F-35 for over a year now. Has been working on a model, and the one that they test flew is the first production one that came off the production line. All right, that's the one and only in the U.S. according to Wes and Chris. But that's not the plane he's been developing all this time. Okay, that's the new production one, the first production one. So do you still have a silver one, Craig? Do you? I have the decals for the silver one. The one I'm repairing, I thought about painting it silver. I really did, just because I already have the decals for it. Um, so I don't know. Um, I'll tell you. Hang on a minute. Yeah, this video is 8 years ago. So, and um, this is not a finished product airplane. This is his test rig. Look at this. There's an F-35 in the background. Oh no, that's not an F-35. What's dual engine like that? God, that's a weird looking airplane. So let me back it back up for a second. Okay, so I believe these engine nacelles in this were the ones that FMS sent Brandon, and they're totally unacceptable to him. So he designed the new ones that the model comes with. Those aren't it. So um, so I think this was his test model, and of course he's still playing with it. So after, I don't know if he ever sent this folding wing idea to FMS or not. He probably talked about it, but maybe he didn't do it. I don't know. Obviously, they chose not to go that route. I'm sure for cost reasons. The plane's already pretty expensive. Can you imagine how much more expensive it would be to put the folding wing, in it? Yeah, I know, Eric. I remember when you did that to your use the Wildcats mechanism and put it in your Hellcat. I thought that was awesome. Um, yeah, I have both those planes. So yeah. So anyway, there's a lot involved in, and it go this, like I said, that F-35 has been in production, or not production, but in testing for over a year. Chris has been working on that airplane. So um, and they might not be 100% done with it. I think anything they do with it now is probably going to be minor stuff, not retooling. Um, maybe just moving something like to get the CG different. You know, but they're not gonna make new molds or anything. Whatever they do to it now will just be, you know, tweaking it. Um, there's a P-38 in the background. I don't think I see. There's a jet standing on its nose. It's twin engine, but it looks kind of like an F-35, but it's twin engine. That one right there. I don't know what that is. Is that dual tail too, or is it single tail? Hang on a minute. Let's get a better look at it. Oh, I didn't notice he's got a camera on the back of the between the pilots. I didn't see that before. And it's moving with the pilot's head. That's cute. Very cool. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I just saw the 38. Yep. Yeah, that is a twin tail. I don't know what that jet is. Yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me your best guess. I don't know what it is. Hang on. Well, I think we're going to get another view of it here in a sec. Look at how tight that seam is underneath the wing. I mean, that is, you can't even see where it separates. And then all of a sudden, boom. What a beautiful job. Yeah, the man's he's a genius, that's for sure. He makes some damn nice airplanes. And the fact, and I'm sure, he's very proud of the work he did on the F9, the F7F. Um, yeah, I don't know what that jet is on the floor there. It's standing on its nose. Yeah, there's the P-38. I think I'm not sure if that's the motion one or not. Yeah, that's the jet I'm looking at right there. What the hell is that? Any of you guys know what jet that is? All right, Wiggs. We'll see you later. Thanks for coming, man. Uh, well, yeah, you might be right. Actually, but whose? pretty big. It might be an 18. I hadn't thought of that one. It's just something about it looks different. I don't know what I'm not sure why that looks weird to me. Um, I like it. I mean, but I just couldn't figure out what it was. You might be right. That might be an F-18, but whose? Because that looks pretty damn big. Is that big round yellow thing in the background a giant M&M peanut candy guy that's some kind of a prop or a dispenser, an M&M dispenser? I don't know. I just see that in the background. I'm like, what the hell is that thing? I don't think it's an airplane. I could be, I don't know. Maybe it's a flying sub for the Sea View. I don't know. Now that I said that, it does kind of look like it might be the flying sub. Yeah, Robert. Oh, good to see you, Robert. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, everybody seems to want to go small, so guys that own Priuses can go fly airplanes. I don't know, is that really your market? Do you want to go after the guy that drives a Prius, really? you know, yeah, I'm at the point now where I want big airplanes. I don't need any more, 1,200 size airplanes. I've got racks and racks and racks of 1,200 size airplanes. I don't have a lot of 3 meter airplanes or close to 3 meters, 2 meters to 3 meters. I think my B-17, I think that's 2,300 and something millimeters. I think that's the biggest wingspan I have, other than my Flex um, uh, Twin Otter. I think those are my two biggest wingspan airplanes. My LXB-25 is 2 meter. The Carbon Z's, I have four of those. They're 2 meter. I have two of the Cessna. Well, I've got the one from HSD, the Cessna 172, and then the 150 from Horizon. Those are both 2.1 meter, I believe. Um, so those are all my biggest airplanes, except for the new the OV Bronco, the OV10 Bronco. I forget how big that wing is, but I think it's in the 2,300 range. That's a wood kit though. That's not foam. But yeah, I want bigger airplanes. I don't need this 1,200 shit, 1,100. You know that new one Motion came out with was a Warbird. It's like 1,000 or 1,100 maybe. I'm just not into little airplanes anymore. I've got enough little airplanes. Yeah, Yeah, 3 meter Bronco would be cool. Yeah. The only 3 meter foam plane I can think of right now is the Fox glider from FMS. That's 3 meter. Um, and it's cool. God, that's a cool glider. Um, that's the only thing I can think of that's 3 meter right now. If you guys know of another one, let me know. Um, I mean, as far as overall size, big, probably my Flex uh, Twin Otter or my extra 330, that balsa kit that I bought. The balsa it was ready to fly. I bought the whole package, motors, everything. That thing is big, um, but it doesn't have a huge wingspan because it's a 3D plane. But overall size, I mean, the fuselage is longer than any of the planes I have. So if you want to judge it by size that way, that's the biggest plane I own. That thing's over 6 feet long, the fuselage. So, as a matter of fact, I think my ceiling height in here is 84 inches, and I don't think it'll stand up in here. I can't remember if I stood it up in here or not. If it'll fit, it's going to be close. Oh, you have one of those? Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool glider. Yeah. Did you answer my question, Craig? Did you hear me about the Pontiac G8 and the Chevy SS? Those cars. Are you familiar with those cars? Do you follow those cars? I'll tell you in a second why I'm asking. Hey, I have some bad news for you. Obviously, you haven't been on Harbor Freight's website lately. Um, they no longer have any RC anything. They discontinued all their RC products. So your Sky Prancer's gone, no longer. They're not carrying anything RC anymore. Oh wow, really? An MQ-9 what is that called? A Raptor drone? A 12-foot? Wow. No shit, really. Wow. We're looking at Brandon Moon, the bottom of Brandon Moon's wing. We were trying to figure out what jet that was in the background. Somebody says it's an F-18. Maybe it is. I couldn't figure out what it was. But maybe it is an F-18. But I just don't know whose F-18. It's pretty big. I didn't know anybody made a F-18 that big. Well, I have one. I've got a G8, and there's a huge get together every year up in Indiana, um, and pretty much every one of the holding cars in America go there for this event every year, and I think it's in September. So I might be coming up there in September. Um, so maybe we can get together. Maybe you'd like to go to that event. It's called the Outback Roundup, I think, is what they call it. And there's a guy up there, I think his name's Trevor, um, something like that, I think. And he's got, I don't know, probably about 4 acres of land. And he owns about 6 of these cars. He's got a couple of Utes. He's got a couple of SS's. I think he's got, I don't think he has any G8s. I think I think he's got 3 or 4 SS's and a couple of Utes. But he's the guy, if you want to import one of these cars from Australia, he's the guy to talk to. He's got all the connections to get one into the States legally. All the whatever needs to be done to get it in the States legally, he's the guy to talk to. So, and he has this big shindig at his house every year, and I think I'm going to go. So if I do, I'll let you know, and you can probably come hang out with me if you want. Somebody came out with an X-wing fighter that flies, and Brian Phillips has it. Really? Who's making that thing? What company's making that damn thing? You're now intrigued, are you, Mike? Yeah, I kind of am too. What? I need to know more. What are we talking about here? Who makes this damn thing for $2,000? I mean, Warthog made one that kind of flies. I mean, it flies, but it's a tiny little thing, and you know, it's just a differential thrust control. I think is all it has. It's an independent company. They've been around forever. Let me go see if I can find it. I'm intrigued, just like Mike is. A 56-second video. Okay, it's not a Star Wars X-wing fighter. This is some drone thing. So yeah, okay, I'm not intrigued any longer. This is just some drone, goofy looking. Yeah, I thought we were talking about Star Wars. Not even close. So yeah, not impressed. Not at all. Next. Yeah, yeah, not impressed. Oh God, yeah, I saw one go vertical. Wasn't he going for the quickest altitude, speed to altitude record or something? Oh my God, that thing looked like a missile. Holy shit. Are you not entertained? I don't know. I hope I'm trying to be entertaining. Yeah. So I don't know. I hope that was entertaining, but yeah, that wasn't. I thought we were talking about a Star Wars X-wing fighter that flew. Um, and like I said, Warthog came out with one that does fly, um, and it was actually kind of cool. I missed the chance to buy one, but um, I thought it was pretty cool. I know EQ and I both have the Enterprise from Warthog that flies. It's got lights at night. It's cool as shit for what it is, guys. I mean, I know it's just a little toy, but for what it is, it's very cool. Um, Ed, what's up? How you doing? Hi, Crystal. Good to see you, man. So, Craig, have you ever heard of this guy in Indiana that does this Holden event every year? Did you ever talk to anybody that ever crossed your path? Do you know this guy by any chance? Um, the picture of that guy's yard. That so this is every vehicle there is either a Pontiac G8, a Pontiac GTO, late model stuff, not 70s. And then the Chevy SS or Ute. There's there's Utes in the United States. So I don't know how many cars are there. I've heard numbers of 600 cars there. That doesn't look like 600 cars, but 200 or 300 at least. Of course, I don't think we have. There's a lot of cars like between the buildings over there on the right. There's a whole bunch of cars parked under those garages and in between those garages. Well, I think the house is in the front and the garage is in the back, and so there's a lot more cars there than we can see in this picture. Um, but yeah, it's a huge event. Um, and that's a burnout pad there at the bottom. We see that concrete slab at there's a black driveway that curves up around to the left. That concrete area there is for doing burnouts. They have a big burnout contest there every year, and then that blacktop that curves around, that's a go-kart track. So he also races go-karts there. He has an event every year for go-karts too. And so yeah, this guy's a nut. I mean, he's cool as shit, this guy. And so I'm probably going to go to this. I'm going to try to make it to this. No, it's a show. Yeah, no, he doesn't own all. He owns about 7 of these cars, I think. But no, this is a big event he puts on every year at his house. So this is his house and his garage, and there's more garages to the left you can't see. But yeah, he invites everybody. I think it's in September. He actually hasn't released the date this year yet. I've checked his website a couple of times, and he hasn't put a date up yet. But it's usually in the September area, and yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, there's a shitload of cars there. You don't see a lot of blue cars. I see blue canopies. There's a lot of blue canopies up, but you don't see a lot of blue cars. And mine's blue. So, so I'll have one of the rare color schemes there. The red ones are pretty popular. The silver ones are pretty popular. You don't see the apple green ones because they designated a spot in between the house and the garage on the right there. All the apple green ones are in there. There's about 8 of them, I think. And they get special parking. They're all parked in there, all the apple green ones. Purple's a pretty good color too. There's a lot of purple Utes. I don't remember. I could probably look at the video and find out. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can tell you where it is. Well, it says Indianapolis. Which is close. I mean, that's where my brother lives, really close to Indianapolis. So, yeah, it says Indianapolis here. Let me see in the more information what it says. Yeah, his name's Travis Bell. He's the one who puts this on every year. And believe it or not, this is kind of interesting. What this guy does for a living is he makes license plates. all those, you know, vanity tags. That's what he does for a living. He has hundreds of thousands of different vanity plates. Checkered flags, American flags. Whatever's on a vanity plate. He probably makes it, and that's his main job. I suspect he does other things too. He's into a lot of stuff. So I think he stays busy with all the different things he does. But yeah, but Travis Bell's his name, and you can look this up on YouTube, Craig. Just put in Holden Outback, and you'll see there's videos from every year. And it's good watching. The guys walk around, talk to people with cars, talk about the cars, give away a car. So good watch if you're into these cars. It's a fun watch to watch what he's doing. Oh, there's a Holden Ute. Yep, $95,000. Yeah, let me get two of those. Yeah, that's definitely not my. Raymond, what's going on? How you doing, man? Yeah, I definitely can't afford one of those. Wouldn't mind having one. As a matter of fact, I just bought a bunch of Hot Wheels. I bought four. Yeah, actually, two of them are right behind me. I don't know if you can see them or not. I'll get out of the way. Um, right behind the right there, there's two Utes in their Matchbox packages. There's a red one and a apple green. And I have two more that I bought. Um, and I've got a couple of SS's in the ignition orange color. I think one of them's still sitting here on the table. I think I took the one in the house. I took out of the package because the package was crushed. The car was okay, but as far as a collectible piece, it's got to be in perfect condition in the package, and this package was destroyed the way they shipped it. So I took it out of the package. But the other one, I think, is safe somewhere. No, I think that's right. I did take it in the house. Yeah, it's in the house. But that's the same as my Pontiac. The body's the same. So the headlights and taillights are different, but same car. So yeah, I would too, Mike. I wouldn't let that thing go. Yeah, it's amazing. Just last night, I went and put I was farting with my headlights. So the headlights on my car are of course they're getting cloudy, and the cover the clear coats on the is peeling off, and yeah, I could wet sand them and polish them and make them look new again, but they're also compromised. So at night they just fill up with dew inside. All the moisture gets inside of them. And the guy that I bought the car from, I don't know if he did or the guy he got the car from, but one of them put LED headlights, and they actually have little fans on them to cool them down. And so these fans, when you turn the headlights on, you hear these fans humming, and they got so hot that they melted the buckets, the bucket cover. Once you put the bulb in, you put the cover on and twist it to lock it in. So there's holes in the covers because these things got hot and melted. So I just ordered new headlights for the car, the complete set of headlights, not just bulbs, but the whole shit and thing. And I was gonna get the original factory looking ones because I like that, but they were $380. I find the ones I bought were only 197. And they look good. I mean, I like them. They're slightly different than the factory ones, but they look good, and they're going to be a hell of a lot. I couldn't even see where I was going. These things are so screwed up. The right one isn't even going on high beam. I'm only getting daytime running light out of the right light. So when I turn the headlights on, the left one's the only one that was actually lighting the road up at all, and it was aimed in the wrong place. And so I tried aiming them the other night, and then I figured out why. So I swapped the high beam bulb and the low beam bulb. But the high beam bulb, the fan's broke, so it's getting really hot because the fan's not running. So I just decided I need to buy new headlights. I can't keep fucking around with these things. So they won't be here till I don't know. Let's go see let's see what the progress is. Let me see if they've got a update on when they're coming. Okay, let's get out of there. I'm down here. Okay. Orders. Track package. And yeah, the threat secured, blah blah. Shipped. Arriving on the 10th. So what was that? Tuesday? I guess maybe Tuesday they'll get here. Yeah, no big deal. I mean, I'm not in a hurry for them anyway. But yeah, I got tired of trying to screw with the ones I had. They were pretty screwed up, so it was time to just get new ones. All right, Big Bird, have a good day, man. We'll see you later. Yeah, I'm on your same schedule. I'm usually up to 4:30 a.m., 5 o'clock. Been working out here in the garage. Been getting a lot done, guys. I got so much going on right now. I've been just got motivated for a lot of things. Um, Lost a bunch of weight. I got pretty depressed. Last month on the 19th, I went to see my doctor just for a checkup. No, nothing wrong, but Lyndon Stewart, what's up? How you doing, man? And I got on the scale. It's the head for 280 pounds. That's the most I've ever weighed in my life. And I was like, no, that's it. So I've been doing the Michael Bear fasting diet. So I've been fasting for 36 hours, and then I eat one meal of just protein, and then I immediately do another fast for 36 hours. And so, like I said, on the 19th, I weighed 280. So it hasn't even been about 3 weeks. And when I got on the scale today, before I went to church, 249. So that's how much weight I've already lost. So that's 10 pounds a week, basically. I'm staying this way. I'm not going to get fat again. I'm done with that. I'm just going to keep losing weight till I get all the way back down to, about 190 is the perfect weight for me. And of course, to the, ergonomics of it, I'm supposed to only weigh about because of my height. I'm only supposed to weigh about 256. I'm just way too muscular for that. There's no way I could ever weigh that. Hell, I was 180 at one point, and even then I looked sickly. I was my face was all sucked in, and I mean I looked awful at 180. I looked horrible. So I don't want to get that light, but I should like to get under 200 pounds. So we're on our way. And I've been cleaning my house, cleaning the garage. Just I'm full bore getting it done. I'm sick of the whole thing, And I'm kind of stalled on working on the garage for money wise. I'm still waiting for my Social Security to kick in, so I got to be careful on what I spend money on. So I'm kind of stalling on. I was changing the way I was going to do this. I was going to change the order, and because it was just going to be easier, but it was going to require me to dump some money into it right now, and I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is change the order again. It's going to be a lot more work this way, but I can keep working on the garage without spending any more money. So I have enough wood, 2x4s, to build the rest of the walls for the upstairs. But the upstairs is covered with airplanes and beds and stuff because I was trying to get it out of here because I was trying to get this cleared. So this is closest to being emptied. And I was going to clear this and finish this, put the drywall, put the electrical in and put the drywall in and all that. But, it's going to cost me $1,000 to buy the cable, the wire I need, to run power from my air conditioning unit at the house over to the garage, an outside dead man switch box, and then an inside breaker panel. So the wiring and everything just to get the breaker panel is going to be $1,000, and I don't want to spend $1,000 right now. And then running I've got outlets and I've got wire. I already have I think I have 1,000 feet of wire to run through the walls. I'll probably need more than that, but that's way more than enough to get this room done. And I have outlets, so I could do this, but again, I don't have the money for the drywall. I'd have to go buy the rest of the drywall to finish the ceiling. I've got all the lights for the ceiling. They're right here. I bought 16 of these. They were on clearance at Lowe's. So I bought 16 of these. I won't need them all. This LED light here. So I'll take it out of the package and show it to you. Oops. Nope, that ain't it. There we go. Okay. So it's a flush mount. All right. So it's got a little gasket on it here. All right. That seals it between the the drywall and the light itself, and these spring clamps. So you pull these spring clamps like this, and then you shove it up in the hole, and then the clamps suck it into the ceiling, and you just plug in the wires, and you're good to go. So I bought a bunch of these on sale. So I'm going to put these up in here, and then a couple of these will be. There's going to be one in the staircase to light the staircase. Well, actually, maybe not. I got a chandelier. My attorney brought me. He's remodeling a house for him and his wife, and they just bought a different home, and he's remodeling it, and he brought me a chandelier that he took out of the house, and it's not gaudy or anything, but it's a chandelier. But I thought, that might look pretty good in my staircase, because the ceiling in the staircase is going to be really tall, because I want it to match the plant shelf that's going to be on the bathroom. So the bathroom's on that wall, and the staircase, and then above the staircase. So I want the staircase and the bathroom's flat area to be like a plant shelf, or maybe a model train shelf. I want them at the same height. So it's going to be pretty high up, above. It's going to be at least 8 feet above the staircase, at the top of the staircase. So as you go down the steps, it's going to progressively get even taller. So this chandelier they gave me, it's gold and glass globes, and it's not bad looking. So I might put that up there. It's either going to be one of these flush mount lights, or that chandelier. I don't know. We'll see. I'm a long way off from that, but yeah. So now I've decided what I'm going to do, because I've got the garage cleared out, and then since I moved the lift back where it's going, that worked out great. I love where the lift is now. It's not super easy to get the car on it like it was where it was right by the door, but easy enough. And now I can put a car on it and under it, get 2 cars under there. I can pull one more in. The other one's next to the lift, so there's a car next to the lift. I can pull one in front of the lift, and I'm clearing out that area under the living room. So I'm going to have 5 cars in here relatively soon. Yeah, it's going to be within probably during this month. I'll have 5 cars, permanently living inside the garage. So that's coming together. And then what I'm going to do is I've got all the 2x4s I need to build all these walls, I think. So if I build them on the garage floor, and then hoist them upstairs, and I can't permanently install them, but I can at least build them. Use my time to build them and put them up there and just tack them in place, so that they're where they're going to be. I'll use up the wood that I've got piles of 2x4s here that are in my way. So by building the walls and putting them up, that'll eliminate where they are. I've got another set of these French doors. I could put that upstairs and again tack it in place, and that'll get that out of the way. And at the same time, it'll start to enclose the upstairs. And so that should hold me over for a little while I'm waiting to get my Social Security, so that I can start buying more supplies to finish this thing. Yeah, originally I was moving. I've been putting shit upstairs for months now, and now I got to take it all back down. Well, that's not entirely true. I can probably move it above here, take it from the split level there and put it up in here. I can put a lot of it up there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move some stuff around up here, move some of that up here, and then some of it I'm going to bring back down into the hobby room and reorganize this and get them. I might have to spend a couple bucks. I might put my build table in, because if I put my build table in, I can put a lot of airplanes on the table. So, I can have the camera sitting on the corner of the build table, have airplanes on the build table, and still have this backdrop behind me. But then the whole perimeter around the build table there could be planes on the build table and planes in stands around the build table, temporarily. See, I wanted to finish the room and then put all the racks in and then put all the airplanes in the rack to get them out of over here. But that's not my most productive way of doing it right now. So I switched gears again. We're gonna have to change it because I can't spend the money right now for everything I need, all the drywall and the electrical wires and the electrical wire in the boxes is the big deal. Oh my God. Unless I want to put aluminum, and I'm not going to use aluminum. Copper wire. I need 50 feet of copper wire. Four strand for 100 amp service into the garage. Well, it's probably going to be 150 amp service into the garage because that's what code wants. So that just means I have to buy more expensive shit, more expensive breakers and more expensive wire. And so anyway, so that's the new plan. I'm going to reorganize all of this, so that I can get the walls built, get them upstairs and tack them in place temporarily, and use up all this wood that's in my way, and spend the time to be productive without spending money, because I've already spent the money. I already have all this. I have all the screws. I have all the wood. I have everything I need to finish these walls. So I might as well do that. So that's what I'm going to do. And then if I get, again, the other double French doors are down here in the way. If I put them up where they're going to be, they'll be out of the way. So yeah. So that's the new plan. That's what I'm going to start working on. Once I get all this stuff out of the house, organized out here, get it put away. So anyway, Michael, it's funny you say that because I had thought about, if I put either this lift or another lift right next to the living room, I could put a glass wall in and then put a car on the lift and bring it up to living room height. So while we're sitting in the living room, we could look through the window and have a car at our level on the lift to look at. So that I did think about that. It's not quite in the living room, but close enough. It's we can sit there and admire the car while we're in the living room. While we're in the air conditioning, we just peer out the window. I was probably just going to put big sliding glass doors right there, so we could just look through the glass doors at the car on the lift. So, but yeah, I had thought of that. Yeah, I wish I'd have done that. I wish I could have sorted out the building before I filled it. But I tried to keep my ex-wife here, so I had to fill it first. I had to get it all out of the house. So I did, and then she left anyway. So that really pissed me off because I spent the money for the building and all the time to move everything out of the house into the building. And literally, I just brought it out here and threw it on the floor. I didn't organize nothing and put nothing away, just loads and loads. I just brought out from in the house out here, threw it on the floor, went and got another load, and just piled everything in here. And now I spend more time, because it's all in here now, I spend more time moving stuff around to get it out of the way so I can work on that area of the garage. So that's what I do. I spend most of my time moving shit so that I can work on it. And if the building had been empty, I wouldn't be spending any time moving anything. I could have just built the whole thing. I mean, it would have been done by now. It would have been so easy to just build it. If I wasn't spending all my time moving shit, I could have just built it and it had been done. So, yeah, you were going to bed 30 minutes ago. Sorry, you're going to wake up in 2 hours and come back out here. We'll still be here. You know the drill. How many times have you done that? Yeah, I can't believe I got up. I got up and you're still going. Yeah. Yeah, that's me, So I've been doing a little 3D printing also. I printed this garbage can. It's a small trash can. Um, it's 300 millimeter tall. It's probably about 280 by 280 wide. It's not quite 300 wide. Um, it's perfect for like an 8-gallon trash bag. You put an 8-gallon bag in it, pull it over it, and it's like an office trash can. It's a diamond pattern. And so I had printed one, and it came out really good. And then I printed one in this color. Um, the original one I printed in orange, the same filament I printed this car in. So I printed one in orange, and then I just now printed one in this color. And the next one I'm going to print is going to be in this. Well, those are both PLA, not very strong. This is the PET G stuff. And this is transparent, but I don't care that you can see through the can. This is very, very sturdy material, this PET G. It's UV protected. You can put it out in the heat, the sun. It won't melt. It won't. Well, actually, this is it here. My G8. This is out of this filament. That's what this is. So this can sit in the sun. It won't hurt it, and you can see all the infill in it because it's transparent. So if you get it, if you look, you can see the lines through like where the window would be. Let me get it in a spot where you can really see it. Maybe the bottom you can kind of see where there isn't Bondo. You see the like diamond shapes through so that's the infill. So that's what's making it structurally strong. But yeah, you can kind of see it through the door. So you can actually see through the door and see all that inner structure inside there. So I'm gonna print a trash can out of this because it'll be more durable. The orange one didn't come out great. It came out good, but it's not durable. So the bottom is breaking loose. I can glue it, not a big deal, but I think I only put 3 layers on the bottom, and this time I did 7. So the one that's printed in this color, which looks awesome, for a bathroom trash can, this color looks awesome. So that's where that one is. It's in my bathroom now. And then I'm probably going to print one. I want to print at least 4 because I want one in the bedroom. I want one in the bathroom. I want one out here. And I want, where was the 4th one going? Oh, the living room. I want one in the living room. So yeah, so I'm going to have one in the bedroom, bathroom, and the living room, and then one out here. Put under the desk here. So those came out. This one came out really good, but I'm having trouble with the extruder. I know what's wrong with it. I don't know how I'm going to fix it, but I've got a clog. It's not 100% clog. Filament comes through, but the hole is restricted, so the filament's not coming through correctly, and then it binds up. So I've had I think 3 failed prints now. Hang on a minute, I'll show you. They're right here. Actually, I think I have 4 failed prints. Yeah, here they are. There's one still on the build plate somewhere. Where's the plate at? It's got to be leaning up against something here. So this is that's the floor of the can. Okay. So that's a fail. It printed the floor perfect, and then when it started to do the walls, it stopped. So it had failed. Then I did another orange one. Same thing. Did the floor perfect, 7 layers, no problem. Then when it started doing the walls, it stopped printing. So second fail. The third fail, it didn't even finish the first layer, and it failed. It got to the first layer is going diagonal this way, and it got to that and failed. It stopped printing. So I pulled that off the build plate. That was a fail. And then I think I have one more this color fail. If I could find the build plate, because I know it's not in the machine. I took it out to take it off, but I haven't taken it off yet. So that one's still on the build plate. I've had the extruder apart twice. Took a little piece of filament out of it that was jamming it, which I had on the table here a minute ago. But I probably couldn't show it to you anyway. It's tiny, but it's not jammed anymore. But just I can't. They give you a. Somebody told me these are. When they do the acupuncture. They told me this is an acupuncture needle. I don't think it is, but I guess it's the same size as an acupuncture needle, and it's the correct size to clear your nozzle. And they give it to you when you buy the printer. You get a toolkit. You get these little cutters, and you get this. You get a stick of glue and some screwdrivers sometimes, and I also got this cleaning tool. I think it's laying right here. Yeah. Where I put the build plate. I pulled the build plate out so I could take that off of it. I don't know where the build plate's laying here somewhere with that layer still on it, and I can't find it. Anyway, this is what so that this is like a needle. It's got a big ring on the end of it, and it's the exact size of the nozzle. You're supposed to pull the filament out, and then you take this needle and shove it down through the printer when you get a clog, and this is supposed to unclog it. Well, I'm not having any success with that yet. It won't do any good to take the extruder back apart because there's nothing wrong with the extruder. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably try to fiddle with it here in a little bit after the show tonight. But if I don't find the build plate, I ain't going to be printing. I don't know what the hell I do with the plate. Where in the world would I put that? Well, those are signs. That's the laptop. It's not behind the laptop. This is odd. I don't know what I did with that. I can't imagine what I would have done with it. That's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't have carried it out in the shop. I would. I don't know where I went with it. I didn't go very far. It should be laying right here somewhere. I'm probably looking right at it, just can't see it. Can't see the forest through the trees. That's so weird. I don't know what the hell I did with that build plate. No, that's not it. God, that's crazy. Where the hell could I have put that? Strange, very, very strange. It's not at the bottom of the machine. It's not on top of the machine. It's not in front of the machine. It's not behind the Captain America shield. I've got the build plate out of the other printer. The octopus is sitting on that. I just have it sitting there for looks. Not actually, that's a second build plate. I've got two build plates for that one. So this is the spare plate that I got the octopus sitting on. Yeah, this is nuts. I can't figure out for the life of me where I put that damn build plate. I gotta find it. I can't do any printing without it. Certainly won't print without a build plate in it. And that's the biggest machine I have, so none of the other plates will work in it. I think you have to leave your EDFs in the house. What makes you think you have to do that? Just because you want to look at them? Because they're cool looking hanging on the wall? Yeah, I could print a matching trash can and a vase. I could just print a vase and call it a trash can. Or vice versa. I could print a trash can and call it a vase. It's actually decorative enough to be a vase. Um, it's a pretty unique pattern the way it comes out. I wish I had one of them out here to show you. It's pretty cool. Oh, is that? I think I just found it. God, again, hiding in plain view. There it is. Son of a bitch. Yeah, so this one got it was laying up against the train box. My Bachman big hauler train set. It was just laying right up against the box, flat. And the reason I couldn't tell that was the build plate is because it was laying this way. So all I saw was the black build plate. I didn't see the blue, thing in the middle of it. So that's why I couldn't see it. It's just blended in being just a black build plate. If this had been sitting this way, it would have shouted at me, "Here I am, right here!" So, but anyway, so I gotta get this off the plate. Usually, you just get it started, and it comes right off. So, so now we're ready to go. If I can get the clog unjammed, I can start a print tonight. If I'm going to do that, I got to start it real quick here because I want it done by noon. Otherwise, it gets too hot out here. All these problems I was having is because I was printing in this PLA and it was getting too hot out here. But yeah, here's another And this one failed. This is only about 2 layers. And if you look, I wish I could. Where do I have? Yeah, I do have a flashlight. This will probably show you. You might be able to see this. Let me try this and see. Okay. Yeah. You see that horizontal line going across there? It's darker below, and then it's lighter up above. That's where it stopped. That was the second layer going up, and it stopped right there at that line. Where you see the color difference, and then it just was printing in air after that, and I caught it. It just started to do the trace around like it was building the can when I caught it, and so another fail. So I got 4 trash can bottoms that are fails. So we'll have to see if we can fix that and get another one. Get another can printing. I love you, Eric. That's funny. How many airplanes do you think you have now? What's your guess? Your total count? You think? Where do you think you're at? Yeah, I've seen pictures of your house. It's funny. Yeah, between I think your dad was in the living room one day, and like all the planes were hanging on the wall, and it was pretty funny. All right, well, he might have left. I might not have got that question in soon enough. Oh, he did. He's still here. 110 to 120, maybe. Yeah, good for you, buddy. That's respectable. That's a true. It's a true enthusiast right there, without a doubt. Man, that's a true enthusiast. And one more on the way. So there you go. I'll definitely buy that airplane. The EC, the E2. I'll definitely buy that plane. Just can't buy it right now, but I'm definitely going to buy that airplane. So yeah, good night, buddy. Um, yeah, I'm a fan of Dynam. As a matter of fact, guys, I had a nice conversation with April at Dynam. They might be sending me some airplanes. We'll have to wait and see. But I told her how long I've been doing this, and how many videos I've done of their stuff, and I guess she went and watched a couple of them, and she was impressed. So they just might be sending me some airplanes. We'll see. I hope so. It'd be really cool if they did. Um, she said we don't really have anything we want to promote right now, but she says, "Well, I'll definitely keep you in mind for the next promotion." So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. All right, I'm gonna just step off camera for a second. I'll keep talking to you, but I'm gonna see if I can poke this through this and get this thing cleared because I want to start a print. If I don't start it now, I won't be able to start it until tomorrow night because it'll get too. It'll get too. It's going to get too hot out here during the day. Let me heat this thing up a little bit. See if I can push this out. I mean, God, I'm way the hell down inside the extruder. Jesus. I can't imagine why it wouldn't push that out. That's the whole point of this tool, is to shove out the the stuck piece. So yeah, I can't understand why it wouldn't do that. I'm going to heat this to about 180 and we'll see what happens. This heats up quick, the extruder. So maybe if I soften it up a little bit, I can push it out. We'll see here. Yeah, it's already at 150. Come on, jeez. All right, let's go hotter. Hotter. S security startup. S security, what's that? I don't know what that means, Mike. Michael, what is that? S security. It's got a second Facebook page. Your last name is like Metz or something. Is that a scam? Is that, or do you have a second page? Is that your real last name? Bear's not your real last name. What's the story? Why do I keep getting a second Facebook page for you? What the hell's that about? I guess I'm going to have to pull that hot end out of here. I don't know what the hell's wrong. Oh, a super printing a new super strong trash can. Yeah, yeah, that's it. I cannot figure out for the life of me why this will not push out. If you don't want to answer my question on here, just send me a text message to my phone, would you? I don't have my phone out here, but I'll get it. All right. So now I can't even get it to go down in there. So what the hell happened now? That's fucking weird. Well, I really didn't want to have to pull this hot end out of this, but it looks like I'm going to have to. Shit. Ah, damn it. Eek. Brad, that ain't going to happen tonight. That's going to take forever to pull that out. And I don't know if I have the spare one or not. I don't think I do. Oh, well. All right, guys, there's only 6 of you left. What's going on? Are we done for the night? You guys got something else you want to talk about? Another airplane that coming out? Somebody else's another X-wing fighter for Brian Phillips or something? I don't know. Yeah, that new F-35 definitely took me by surprise. I didn't see that coming. Yeah, of all the airplanes I thought somebody might build, I didn't see it. I didn't think that was going to be it. I would have never guessed that. I didn't think the F-35 is that popular. Yeah. Listen. It's not the F-35 that's made me. I wish they'd have gotten to this kind of detail on the F-22. Maybe. You know, if they'd have done something like that, made a bigger, a 110 millimeter F-22, I'd have been way happier with that. I'm just thrilled about the package. With the slur lights, the positioning lights, nav lights, landing lights, the afterburner, heavier landing gear, 110 12S. It just hit all the points for me. It's not the F-135 that's got me excited. It could have been any airplane. They could have done F-16 to that detail level, or an 18, or you know, and pretty much anything. And I would have been just as impressed. It's got nothing to do with it being a F-35. It's just that's what they happen to do, and at this level, it impressed me. So. Oh, when does my Social Security start? Okay, I gotcha. Um, well, I filed a year ago. I filed for a disability because my actual start date will be not this coming October, but next October. But I'll have to file like next May. So we're about 10 months away from me filing for standard Social Security. Um, but I filed a year ago for disability, and it hasn't shown up yet. They haven't approved it yet. So, and I've been told it takes like 2 years. I did hire an attorney to do this for me. So, um, from everything I've heard, if you try to do it on your own, you're going to get, rejected 3 times before they'll approve it. And I just decided that I'd rather just get it over with. Let me put it in an attorney's hands and let them make it happen. So that's what I did. So I don't know when it's going to start. I'm hoping soon. Um, I did get um, so is that what this site is? The one I'm getting this? It's your fake name because it's your picture. Um, so it's a fake name that you made up just so you could log into. So do you go to that page ever? Um, the reason I'm asking, Mike, is if I want to, if I happen to be certain something on the surfing something on the internet or something that I want to send to you, the easiest way for me to do it is through Facebook. I can just copy and paste it into Facebook Messenger and send it to you. So if you don't ever check that page, then I'm not going to subscribe to it. I'll just send it to you on my phone. So I don't do a lot of surfing on my phone. I do it on my computer. But in rare occasions when I want to send somebody something, I'll go research it again on my phone so that I can send it to their Facebook page because I can do that pretty easy from my phone. Um, well, actually, no, I take that back. If I wanted to send you the message directly through your phone number, in a message, that's what I would do. I can do Facebook on my computer, but if I'm trying to send it to your phone because you don't have a Facebook page, then I have to relook it up on my phone, get it, copy it, and then attach it to you know, a direct message through our phone numbers and send it to you that way. So, so yeah, if you're not using that page, there's no point in me, subscribing to it and trying to send you messages through. So that's the only reason I'm asking. And man, I've been getting hammered with that for months, and I kept thinking it was, that's just some spam bullshit. Um, eh, I haven't seen Juno in here tonight. Any of you guys see Juno? Is Lyndon Stewart in here? Are you still here, Michael? Okay, you never go there. All right, so I won't bother signing up or try to send you anything there. Okay, good to know. Because I keep wanting to click on it. I know that's Mike. So yeah, I won't bother. That saves me. So now I can just ignore it. I'll cancel it or whatever I got to do to get it to go away. All right, good to know. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Well, I'm gonna go because we seem to be out of things to talk about, and I got a bazillion things to do. So I think I'm going to head out. Um, I had half my living room cleaned up, and then I dug out a whole other pile of crap and drug it right back into my walk paths. Now I can't get through again, so I got to go clean that mess up now. So, no lie, I kid you not, guys. I'm a hoarder, but I hoarder usable things. Okay, like for instance, a shoebox, an empty shoebox. Sometimes I hang on to those for a while because they're pretty sturdily built, and they have a lid that comes on and off, and they're good for putting things in, storing things, So I like to keep those sometimes. But the plastic bags you get when you go grocery shopping, Deb and I can never get, we want to recycle them. So we put them in, we put like 10 or 15 in a bag and tie it off. And then take it the next time we go shopping, we take them with us and, put them in the recycle bin. So we've been doing that on and off, but we haven't been doing it correctly or consistently. Okay, when we feel like it. Now, of course, those bags don't take up any room. They're just bags. They're not in the way. They're not. They get you know they end up under shit, around shit, over shit. Whatever. So I spent 4 hours yesterday and took over 500 bags back to the recycler at Publix. They have a bin, and I put 15, 20 in, roughly. I didn't count. I just stuffed them in there until I felt the bag was big enough that I could still get it through the flapper door at the thing. And I completely filled the trunk of my car with bags of bags. I think I had 30 bags with at least 15 to 20 bags inside each bag, and I had 30 bags that I took. So I took 5 or 6 at a time out of my car to the thing and shoved them in the. I had to actually stick my arm in there and push down to make more room, and I got all of those out of there. And now I found, I just found a shitload more bags because this next pile of crap I moved found a bunch more bags. So now, and some of them were already bundled up, tied, but they just never made it to the car to go to the back to Publix. So now I got to go bag up a bunch more bags and move some boxes and I'm throwing away a lot of shit. There's just way too much garbage. Empty boxes that I don't need, and I don't carry. I don't keep like an empty Amazon box. I don't keep those. Like I said, a shoe box is kind of a little niche thing, and I only have a couple of those. But anything that comes from Amazon, I burn that. I'm not saving those boxes. But anyway, so I'm gonna go work on that. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. It's good to see y'all. Have a great night, and I'll catch you next week, I guess. All right? All right, guys. Good night. We'll see you later. You got to go over here and stop it here first.